Void Highlord is widely considered by a lot of players to be one of the better classes in the game, if not the best. So I recently farmed for it, acquired it, and have used it for quite a while, and I wanted to make a video of the bad things and good things about the class and whether or not you should spend your time trying to get it if you haven't already got it. Let me know what you think of it in the comments, and let's get started. Okay, so I would like to start off my video on VHL with the worst parts of the class, the parts I don't like at all, and the first one is Major. Now you can see, I'm in this room, the training dummy is right there. I am about to hit the auto attack button on my keyboard. If I hold up my keyboard there, I'm hitting it right now. I'm hitting the auto attack button, the number one on the keyboard, the keyboard key that's supposed to make you auto attack. My character is not auto attacking. Now I do have a ranged skill in my class. If I hit that, look at that, I'm attacking. I hit the guy on the other side of the room for some reason, but it's cool, I'm attacking. Now, your auto attack can hit if you're in the right spot, but when you're in a room with a giant monster where you don't really know exactly where their exact hitbox is because they're giant, they take up the whole screen, it's really hard to find that spot where you're allowed to auto attack and where you're not, and way more often than not, you're not auto attacking, so you're not regaining mana, and you only have one ranged skill that will give you mana, and it costs 20 mana, so it's an expensive skill to use, so you're not really regaining mana off that. It can get you back on track to being in a spot where you can auto attack, but I found it so often that it was losing auto attack ability on monsters without me moving my character. Hand off the mouse, just using the skills, and I would lose the ability to auto attack while the character was dying and respawning over and over again. It was happening so often, it got so annoying, it made me want to go use Lightcaster or something that had range with a decent amount of cost. I imagine this wasn't an issue when the Shackle and Unshackle were able to hit, because you can see they have no mana cost and they're ranged. So I imagine this issue didn't happen at all when these skills had range on them. But because they now don't have range, it's a massive issue with the class, and it makes me not want to use the farm, even a single strong boss where this class is supposed to be used. It's very annoying. Now you can see, if I move up, for some reason if you're like slightly below the monster and you auto attack, it doesn't auto attack. Now if you click on the monster and you're below it, he'll move to the spot you're supposed to be. But the thing about respawning monsters in a map like that, even you have to click on the monster over and over again, and it's not something you'd have to do if there was range on it. So you wouldn't have to be spam clicking your screen onto the monster. It's very annoying, and it's one of the things that I think needs to be looked at by the developers. They need to find a solution to fix this. I'm not saying to buff the class or add the range back, but there needs to be some sort of solution where this isn't happening, because it's extremely annoying. Alright, now my second point of contention with the class, the things I don't like about it, is the skill lag. Now the skills are very pretty, they look really nice and all that, and they definitely are. They're really cool. They're what you would expect from a cool class that takes a lot of farming like this one. So I don't dislike the skills or anything like that, but the lag from them is kinda not great. I think a good fix for this would be the ability to disable skill animations on a per class basis. I think that would be a nice touch for the game. With all the cool new features we're getting, having the ability to disable them on a class would be nice, but other than that, I don't know. A lot of people play with their animations for their own class turned off. Even when I'm the only person in a room with my animations turned on, like I don't see anyone else's class animations. If you're in a room with other players with their gear loaded and all that stuff and then moving around, it lags your game harder than almost any other class I've used, and I play with my animations on for every class, and this one is noticeably laggier. In a room like this, you don't really see it that badly, but if you're in a room with other players, it's very noticeable compared to almost any other class in the game. The last thing I dislike about the class is not the class itself or anything to do with that, it's the way you obtain the class, and something a lot of people I don't really see mentioned very often, but it's very pay to win if you're trying to get the class quickly. Now there are ways, most people will use the dredging quest and farm the helmet from Urshan in the actual Urshan map off the boss. It's not the best drop rate, I think it's like 10%-ish, which isn't the worst, it could be worse, but instead of doing that, you get the same Urshan helmet from 2 pets. Now, to optimally farm all of the resources you need, you'd buy 3 pets. You would spend $100 to item a donate. This blade right here, the Oblivion Blade, you would have to have an active membership, which is more money, depending on if you get a year or 3 months or whatever you get at a time. Then you would spend another 10,000 ACs, which is about $40. You can buy them individually for 20 bucks a pop. It's about $40. So on Craig and Bamboozle and Trudgeon, the pets themselves, those are good ways to farm really good amounts of gold, which can be spent at the Swindle NPC, which will get you the regiments faster. And there's also ways with these quests with Craig and Bamboozle and Trudgeon that let you farm the regiments for the other parts of the quest way faster. So if you spend $140 and have an active membership, you're getting the class a lot faster than someone that's doing the free Dredging quest over and over again, trying to get that 10% drop, when I can just walk into the room in this member-only map using my member-only pet that costs $100 combined with my $20 other pet, and I can just hit this elemental over and over again. He drops the quest items, the cores from both the Craig and Bamboozle and the other blade, and you can turn those in for very quick, very easy regiments. It's super pay to win. You get the cores. There's 2 different types of cores for 2 different types of quests. After a very short amount of time farming this guy, you can grab these both and hit your quest button, and you go to complete. You can turn them in for Urshan helmets very easily, both of them. So there's a chance of getting both cores. One of those cores equals 1 Urshan helmet a piece, so you can farm very quick Urshan helmets and turn those into the supplies that spin the Wheel of Chance quest over and over again rapidly. Yeah, so there's a lot of pay to win with the VHL farming that a lot of people don't really mention that often, but it does exist. Alright, now let's stop talking about bad things and start talking about the good about the class. Yeah, so VHL, as you know, really good DPS. It got buffed recently and then nerfed again. The nerf really hurts it with what I talked about earlier with the range and not being able to get mana back when you're in a boss fight with a group, which is really unfortunate, and hopefully maybe that'll get fixed in the future at some point. I don't know. I don't see them fixing it. I'm probably the only person that's ever complained about it that I've seen anyway, and I follow them on social media and stuff quite often. But the class itself, if you look at the DPS number, the damage done up here, the DPS, you see I'm at 6,600 DPS, which is very good for a single target class with nobody boosting it in a room by itself immediately off the bat. But as you keep going with this class, the damage just keeps going up. It just keeps scaling. They added skills to the class that make it so it just scales higher and higher and higher. You can keep seeing this number. It'll just keep going up. I was at this guy farming this training dummy for, I think it was like 20 minutes or something, and the damage, it didn't stop. It just kept going. I got kind of bored of trying to keep raising it. It just kept going up to the point where it's not even fun. It's boring how much DPS it has. It's just, and it doesn't stop. We can stay here. I got up to 20,000, and I'm pretty sure it was going to keep going, but I was just like, 20,000 was with, I think there was a Legion Revenant and some other people boosting me in the room there. It wasn't a solo situation, but it was really, really high DPS from a class like this, and it didn't seem like it was stopping. You can see we're still going up. We're at 8,100, and the more stacks we get, the higher we go. It'll just keep going. And the skills, the combination in which you use the skills really doesn't matter. Someone might tell you it matters. I can't see a situation where it does. I look at all the skill cooldown timers. If you read all the skill descriptions, you're not really, as long as you're hitting them all in rotation and you're not missing one for like a minute, you're going to be fine on that for a long boss fight. And now immediately it is good to use an optimal combo if you're trying to get immediate burst damage out of it, but it does enough burst damage just hitting any skill by itself. I don't think you really need to do that usually, but under certain circumstances you would want to be using the crack combo to start off with there. But yeah, it really doesn't matter. You can see we're at 9,000 now, 9,400. It'll just keep going up and it won't stop. That's probably the best thing about the class and the good stuff about the class. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the VHL class and what I think that. Now to give a conclusion at the end of this video, because it probably should have a conclusion the way I've set it up, is that if you're looking to farm it, there are some pay to win aspects to the farming. You can avoid those. Saying it's a pay to win class is not correct, because there are free ways of getting it, and the free ways aren't the worst. They could make it a lot worse for the free players. The fact there's a 10% drop on the Urshan helmet, it's not too bad, to be honest. It is a hell of a lot slower than having the $140 pet option there, or the $120 if you only have Craig, if you're only using the Craig and the other one plus membership. But it isn't. You're not saving that much time for the money, to be honest, in the long run, if you think about it. And anyway, so there's that. It is a free class. You can fully farm it as a free-to-play player, and if you have a lot of extra time and you want a class, you can see our damage it just keeps going. If you want a good class that scales DPS for longer fights, I think it's really good for that. It's really good for scaling for longer fights now, and that's kind of how the class designers have it set up in the game now. So yeah, it's really good, and it starts off the gate with higher DPS than most classes can start off with as well. So you don't really have to worry about getting your stacks up that badly for even shorter fights. It's all in all just a very good solo class. It's got good survivability. It's got good basically everything. And if you enjoy farming in AQ, you should definitely go for it. It was a lot easier with the pay to win stuff I was using, but even without pay to win, I imagine it's a lot easier than you perceive it from hearing people talk about it. At least it was when I attempted it, and it didn't take that long. The limiting factor is the daily quests. It will take you, I think, 13 or 14 days of farming to get it. So make sure you go and get your Elder Blood right away. Go stack that up to 5 and keep it at 5. And even on days where you don't feel like farming for VHL, you should go and log in and do the daily for the Elder Blood, because it's good to have that stacked up. Maybe one day you want to turn in 3 instead of just the doing one quest that day, and you have the 3 stacked up already. So yeah, that's my video on VHL. I like the class. It's alright. It suffers in group fights with the mana, and that's a big issue with the class. But other than that, and I hope they fix that, it's really good, and I would recommend farming it. So yeah, I don't regret farming it, and that is my conclusion for this video. So leave a like if you liked the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and I'll see you guys all in the next one as we get close to 10,000 DPS, and it'll just keep going up. We could be here all day. So yeah, thanks for watching, and bye bye.
Oh my god.
I don't know how much it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot. Oh my god, it keeps going up. It keeps going up.
Oh my god.
It keeps going up.
Oh my god.